one of our main core values is be the best. How do you do that? You got to be committed to being better than everyone else.
Yeah.
And that means getting better than yourself, right? And eventually you just start competing with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is what we did. Well, this is what we're going to do now,
Yeah.
And so it's just this constant evolution of trying to get better and better and better. But
yeah, for sure. I think there's there's this razor's edge of SOPs. Like, I know that's such a dirty word. Like, I'm sure there's people that are going to listen to this and be like, God, I hate even hearing it. But there's a razor's edge, I mean, a lot of businesses that I walk into and coach, what they've done is they've tried to out-process a people problem.
Yeah.
And that is like, we walk in and everything is on paper, every process is written out. It's like 300,000 pages worth of process, and they're just churning through people, and they're like, man, I don't know what's going on. Like, it's very clear what they're supposed to do. It's like, well, are we hiring the right people? Are we getting the right people in here? Are there 300,000 pages here that could be, 3,000 pages? We're ultimately like, let's provide some guidelines, but let's not just tell people how to do their job. Like, we don't need to handhold. Let's go hire good people and give them some guardrails. So there's kind of a razor's edge there, where you just have to figure out what's best. We use the 80-20 rule, which has been popularized in a ton of books. Document 20%. That's going to get you 80% of the way. But I really truly believe that you don't need to over document things. You don't need to have an SOP for everything. There is like a piece of critical thinking that you need to have if you're going to work for me. So like, I'm not going to tell you how to think. I hired you to think a little bit. Here's the guidelines that we operate in, and we got to make it work from there.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And we go through, like even in hiring, to where we used to be like, hey, we need to hire someone. And I would basically just go like pluck someone off the street and be like, you want to work with us now. And they were the only one. And then to like, shift 3 years later to where like we post a job and we have hundreds, if not 1,000 applicants. And then we go through there and we're like, wow, these are all really qualified people. And we're doing some vertical integration where we're buying a piece of IP and bringing things in and building this new arm of the company so that it can scale at the same rate as us, because we were starting to outscale one of our third-party processes. And in doing that, like we, started working with headhunters and stuff, and like they're out there running these things by, and it's just droves and droves of people. And they're like, what? We don't understand. Like, we're hitting all the criteria. We're like, yeah, but you can't touch culture because you don't know culture on paper. And when we meet with people, they're like, we're not asking them about that. Their resume got them in the door, but their personality and the way that they process information and the way that they work as a team is what's going to get them hired. And for every 100 people, there may be one. And we hold that. And it's sometimes it's frustrating because you're trying to solve a problem. But we found that anytime that we've ever settled and hired outside of our cultural values there, that I've used this analogy in our company. It's like a splinter in your thumb. Like, at first, it may not be that bad. You can kind of see it, but it's not too bad. But eventually, it festers up and gets squeezed out. And so, and I tell people, back when I was doing the interviewing, 30 employees ago, I would tell them, like, you can fake it. You can 100% can fake all of this, but it will be found out. And it won't be found out by me, but it'll be found out by everyone you work with, and they will be the reason that you are gone, because they're not going to put up with it, because it's just here. You can't be an anomaly in this situation that we've built. Like, it's just not going to happen. You can't do it. Like, you can fake it only for so long, but it will come to fruition that you lied, and it just happens. And so we started having turnover, and we just decided to, like, we got to fix the hiring process. We got to add some more layers, more steps, more things, like from personality tests to hey, shoot me a video telling me why you would be a good fit for this job. And some people won't. And if you're not comfortable doing that, then you're not a person for this company. And like, it just those kind of mind shifts of like, I'm not desperate for help. I need the right people for the process, and being able to just live with it and say, look, if it takes longer, it takes longer, but we're going to find the right one. Those little things, massively improve the overall quality of people that are coming to work inside of our company.
Yeah.
But that all comes with growth.
Yeah. And you have the ability now. I mean, you build something. When you build out a really good purpose and a really good core values, and you hire and fire based on those things alone, you have built something now where you can be picky. Yep. You can get 1,000 applicants and pick 0 of them. You can get 1,000 and pick 100 of them. You have the ability to be picky, but that's a lot of people look at that and say like, well, oh, that's a gift that you've been given. No, that was a lot of hard work that we had to create to be able to afford the luxury to be picky and get 1,000 applicants. Because at the end of the day, like there's thousands of construction firms in Greenville, and all of them are trying to find people.
Yep.
But TJ can get 1,000 applications, right? You know, so it's like, that's all because you were very clear about what you guys are going towards. You're hiring by values, which is super important. We don't just hire people. We hire based on the values, like you said. And I think it's a huge distinction that a lot of people get wrong. Go out and find good salespeople. That's great. But like, are they going to fit our culture? Or are they going to wreak havoc on my culture in the next 6 months? And I'm going to spend 6 years trying to replace, you know, all the damage that's been caused.